Beautiful day in the Royal National Park. I'm just at the bottom of Lady Carrington Drive near the Forest Loop. Just came in the waterfall entrance, and it's a good place here just at the end of Lady Carrington Drive, the nice long 10k track that goes to Audley, to pick up this beauty here, Acacia floribunda. It's a nice common wattle to try and get familiar with. It's another one that has naturalised well outside its natural range. I think its natural range is Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, but it's well and truly now growing in Western Australia, South Australia, Tasmania and New Zealand, and it's probably growing further afield than that as well, I would think. So it's got a bit of weedy potential, a bit of naturalisation. I have seen them here along Bowler Creek, and there's certainly many of them here in the mid-story, but I don't think they're weedy here. I think they belong. I remember photographing them years ago further down there on Bowler Creek, and they might have naturalised here at some stage, but I think hopefully in this sort of wet sclerophyll forest is sort of a place they belong, but I could be wrong about that. It's another wattle where I struggle to sort of discern it in its natural habitat or say that it belongs in the habitat I'm in. So this might be another one of these examples. Whether it belongs in the habitat where you see it, because it is planted widely, it does naturalise readily, a bit like Fimbriata. So it might be a bit difficult in some cases. Yeah, so the natural range is from Victoria around about as far west as Horsham, and then it goes up into New South Wales. It's sort of west to, I don't know, maybe between Wagga Wagga and Canberra there somewhere, sort of Lithgow, Mudgee, punching up into the Hunter Valley. It goes right up the coast, and it's really common along the coast. Up to about the Brisbane area, I think. It's around Brisbane where it peters out in Queensland, and then I think there's a disjunct patch in Biloela somewhere. But with the naturalisations, that might be getting a bit clouded now, just like a lot of other species. But that's about the natural distribution. It gets to about 8 metres tall, Acacia floribunda. About 8 metres. This is very early September. It's September 2 today. It's in beautiful flowering mode, and I've seen it like this for the last 2 weeks. They tend to have a smooth trunk, and it's sort of got mottling on it. It's sort of a light brown. That's the typical appearance of it. But it does have these nice lighter glaucous patches down further. And it's normally a nice, vase-shaped shrub. You can see it's got a nice structure. They can be short-lived, but every time I come down here, I do see these ones here. Maybe you'll get 5 to 10 years out of them. They grow well in a garden, no problem at all. And they'll grow on a variety of soils, whether you're sandy or clay. It might affect the lifespan, but they do grow pretty readily on a variety of soils. The other thing that they always get, and I'm just going to try and find one if I can, an ID feature for them that helps me is these galls. They've always got these galls on them that can get quite big and green. I'm just going to pull down this branch as an example. There's some just sitting there like that, and sometimes they can be, big, like about 2 or 3 centimetres across, or maybe a bit more. They always get these galls. I see them on this wattle more often than a lot of other wattles. So just look out for those. It's a bit of a helpful ID feature just when you see these galls on it, especially on advanced mature plants. The ones up there are about the same size. I was just going to try and pull down a big one, but always got these galls, which I think are caused by wasps laying eggs, I think, on the plant, is my understanding. Yeah. As you can see for floribunda, the flowers are in spikes. They're in these nice little, you could call them little bottle brush spikes. but the spikes are a little bit interrupted. They've got gaps in between the flowers. The flowers aren't really totally clustered. They've got gaps between each flower, as you can see there. Some are in bud. You can see how the buds are just separated out. So it's known for having a bit of what we call an interrupted inflorescence, where the buds are, or the flowers are spaced out and you've got gaps in between. But they've got a sort of nice dainty inflorescence. They put them on in large numbers, but they're a nice pale cream colour. But as you can see, they're not overly long. They get up to about maybe 5 centimetres or so in the leaf axils. I think you can get multiple spikes in a leaf axil. If I have a close look at this one, yeah, there's about 3 spikes coming out from the one point of origin. I'm trying to capture that. You can just see those spikes there. There's one coming out here and there's one coming out there as well. So you can get, these wattles have put the flowers in spikes, and also the ones that put them in globular heads. When they've got sort of single globular heads or single spikes, they can put 2 or 3 in a cluster from the same leaf axil. So they're sort of not joined, they're separate, but they're all coming from the one point of origin there. So you can get that in ones like Acacia oxycedrus as well. So they're nice and pale cream, or you'd say cream, that would mean pale, to a sort of mid lemon yellow. They're normally not darker than that. It's a nice cream to lemon yellow. That's one of the ID features for me as well, the colour of the flowers. Now, sometimes it helps to just, I guess, talk about misidentification and putting them in and trying to link them to others. You might link it to Acacia longifolia with the flowers in spikes, and you might link it to Acacia fimbriata with the phyllodes. Remember, Acacia fimbriata has the flowers in globular heads. It doesn't have them in these spikes. So the phyllodes can be to 15 centimetres long and 1 centimetre wide. So 15 by 1 centimetre. You can see these are on the narrow side. This is what I like for Floribunda. Phyllodes about 5 mil or maybe 3 mil wide. They're looking a bit like something like Callistemon linearis, again a bottle brush, which is no relation, but they've sort of got foliage a bit like that. When you get in Floribunda with phyllodes 1 centimetre wide, yeah, you might start getting tripped up a bit. You might think it's potentially Acacia maydenii, or you might think it's Acacia longifolia. So it's possibly maydenii you're going to mistake it for. You might have to look for those lenticellular branches or lenticels on the branches of maydenii, which are really prominent, although they're sort of pretty prominent here as well. I'm just trying to pick up. Yeah, look at the lenticels. That's what maydenii is known to have. But we can see longifolia has them as well. I think maydenii flowers, foliage, it'll just be fatter. It'll be fatter and longer in maydenii typically. And probably more than 1 centimetre wide in most cases. You might be thinking longifolia, but the flowers are a different colour. The flower spikes are longer and they're deeper yellow most of the time in longifolia. They're a real bright mid-fluorescent yellow. Sometimes a deeper yellow, but they're really bright. This guy's really pale. It's just the pale, creamy flowers that do it for me for Floribunda. So that's some of the things you might have to look at. Just remember, fimbriata, it tends to have a conspicuous gland at the bottom of the phyllodes. In Floribunda, the gland can be absent. It can be absent or really inconspicuous. I don't know what this one's got, but I'm trying to capture it. And it's going to be even too difficult like that. But there's meant to be glands absent or just really inconspicuous. I can't even zoom in on that. It's not letting me at the moment. Oh, there we go. There might be a gland there somewhere. It might be absent. If you see the fimbriata video, it was very prominent, a very prominent gland. So just going to have another look at this one. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to get under a hand lens or a microscope just to do it justice. There looks like there's a little bend in the upper part of the margin there. There might be a little gland just there, but it's a bit hard to see. You're meant to get 1 to 4 longitudinal veins in Floribunda, and I think they're anastomosing a fair bit, meaning they're joined by side branching. Have a look for that. But to me, again, they've just got to look to them. They've just got to look to them that the longer phyllodes compared to Fimbriata, the narrower phyllodes compared to Longifolia and Maydenii, and it's a smaller plant. It's a nice, most of the time when you see them, they're 2 to 3 to 4 metres tall. Longifolias, you tend to see them bigger, and the foliage of Longifolia, it's just so much wider. It's just so much broader a lot of the time. Look for the galls. The galls are very helpful. I haven't got the pods here because we're in flower, and we're going to be going into flowering time. We've got some European honeybees just up there. Just remember, it will flower at the same time as Longifolia. I can't see any Longifolia directly around me here. That's having a really good season as well. Just coming down to this one for a bit of variation. This one's about 6 metres. I'll give this one here. Probably 6 metres tall. They can be multi-stemmed sometimes. And again, you've just got that nice mottled grey and brown, just grey and brown trunk. They're not really bluish patches like on something like Parva pinnula or Felicifolia, which are bipennates anyway, but they're just a nice mottled trunk there. It's a nice shrub to grow. If you prune it in your garden, you'll get a denser foliage. They can just be short-lived. That's one of the disadvantages of them. They get a fair bit of dieback, and the foliage can go very sparse. But that's probably enough for this particular species. Just try and get your eye in for the pale inflorescences and the really narrow phyllodes that are often about 10 centimetres long or so. Longer than Fimbriata most of the time. But do check out the glands when you can on the phyllodes, but nowhere near as prominent as something like Fimbriata. Beautiful plant. Floribunda, obviously meaning abundance of flowers. They've got a scent as well. Yeah, there's a nice scent there, which just sort of smells like spring. A little bit laundry-like perhaps. Yeah, there's a nice smell there.